Howdy folks, Deacon Parsons here. Well, Donald J. Trump is now the President-elect of these United States of America. Some people may think that the battle is over, that John Wayne has ridden into town, shot it out with the Devil Hillary gang, and now we all will live happily ever after. Nothing could be further from the truth. If you voted for Trump, the battle isn't over, it has just begun. I hope you are all prepared to saddle up and ride it out. In this video, I'm going to put forward what I think President Trump and his supporters must do initially to succeed. Time is short. Typically, when a president is elected and his party is given control of both houses of Congress, the honeymoon only lasts 2 years. Then one of the houses changes hands. But this is far from a typical situation. Trump will not only be fighting the media and the Democrats, but Trump will be fighting the establishment Republicans as well. How he sets the tone for his presidency will make it or break it. The media, Democrats, establishment Republicans, the agencies, the bureaucrats will all come to Trump and try to tell him that he must now work with them to govern. Trump cannot make this mistake. From day one, Trump must put everyone on notice that he doesn't have to work with them. Donald Trump has a mandate from the people. Donald Trump must establish up front that Washington had better learn to work with him. The deplorables and the irredeemables are mad, in charge, and they aren't going to take it anymore. To begin his presidency, Trump needs to assemble an all-star cabinet and White House staff. I have 3 suggestions for him to get started. Trump's chief of staff needs to be Newt Gingrich. Gingrich is like Chinese food. People either love him or hate him. But he has one qualification that no other politician on the planet has. As Speaker of the House, Gingrich made a contract with America. A list of 10 things Congress would do if the voters gave the House back to the Republicans. When the voters responded, Gingrich delivered 9 out of the 10 promises. In doing so, he offended the establishment Republicans, and they destroyed him. No other politician on the planet has a record of delivering 90% of their campaign promises. Not one. He did so even though it cost him his career. Now, love him or hate him, Newt Gingrich delivers for the American voter. Trump needs this kind of experience leading his team. One of Trump's first cabinet appointments needs to be Condoleezza Rice as Secretary of State. She's the best person for the job, bar none. Enough said. The third appointment he needs to make is Trey Gowdy as Attorney General. And they need to plan to enlist a whole platoon of special prosecutors. Once he has his team assembled, Trump needs to go on the offensive and stay on the offensive. The Attorney General needs to go after all the corruption that has been revealed in this election cycle. Corruption and lies is why people, especially the crossover Democrats, voted against Clinton and for Trump. Prosecutors for the Clintons and all the scandals thereof, the DNC for the corruption with Bernie Sanders, Lois Lerner and the IRS, all the DNC operatives that admitted to corruption to Project Veritas, the conflict of interest between media spouses, government spouses, campaign officials, all need investigated and prosecuted to the nth degree. The AG also needs to establish a special task force to go after corrupt establishment Republicans. The large social media sites need to have RICO fraud and conspiracy investigations as well. Nothing may come of them, but the whole country needs to know how these businesses operated to subliminally influence the election. an investigation into the death of Justice Scalia would not be out of order. All the corruption in Washington must be far too tied up fighting legal battles to mount an effective counteroffensive. President Trump needs to make an executive order to issue the held-up nonprofit paperwork that various conservative and Tea Party groups have been waiting on for years. The entire IRS needs to be punished over this. Trump must get control of the internet back in U.S. hands. The media are corrupt. The only hope the world has for liberty is free and open exchange of ideas. ICANN must be brought back in-house. Whistleblowers are a difficult subject for many of us because whistleblowing requires a certain amount of betrayal. People of honor abhor betrayal. However, we must look at the larger picture. Our fourth estate, our news media, has wholeheartedly and openly betrayed us. The only way the American people received the vital information they needed to know this election cycle was from hackers and leakers. As such, to put the media on notice and encourage future release of important data, President Trump needs to officially pardon and praise Snowden, Manning, Assange, Project Veritas, and anyone else integral to the shining of light on evil. President Trump and his supporters need to replace Paul Ryan and any other establishment Republican in a position of power in Congress. Any Republican that did not support Trump needs to be considered a Clinton Democrat, removed from any power in Congress, defeated at home, and replaced by the voters of their district. There will be great resistance to building a wall on the southern border. To checkmate that resistance, President Trump needs to order troops to the border to seal it off, with orders to shoot to kill anyone moving north. Beginning the congressional debates on the funding for his wall with anything less will see the wall tied up and smothered. The President needs to push legislation to make any felony committed by an illegal alien a capital offense, the sentence to be carried out no more than 90 days from conviction. We need to impeach any judge that tries to stop it. I have a video on how to fix the judiciary, link in the low bar. Donald Trump has promised to fight for term limits for Congress. Even if he gets term limits, I don't think it will be effective. I think we must change the way jobs are distributed in Congress to address the problem. Please see my How to Fix Congress video, also with a link in the low bar. The very diverse people who supported Trump are in many ways individualists. That is their strength, but it can also be a weakness. Individualists have a much more difficult time working as a group than sheeple. That is why those who can make themselves shepherds of the sheeple have an easy time getting things done in a free and open society. The shepherds of the sheeple have not seen the light and converted to truth, justice, and the American way. They will be back. If Trump supporters don't want to be trampled by the sheeple, they'll have to keep their eye on the goal and not be divided and conquered. Operatives of the Democratic Party have an admitted and proven predilection to inciting violence. Expect it. I know it is harsh, and I hate to have to say it, but looters and violent rioters should be shot on sight, no matter their race or gender. History proves that in the long run, this will save lives. It ain't over, folks, not by a country mile. Time to get your friends, get your family, grub up, saddle up, and hit the trail for the long haul. This is Deacon Parsons saying, love your maker, love your mate, and do what's right because it's right, and devil take the hindmost.